Hello, everyone. Bettina Carey here. I'm the founder and CEO of We Empower You and the community, as well as the WeEmpowerYourLife.com website. And I'm here today with those of you who could make it to our Zoom link, and also those of you watching here live on YouTube. And there are folks from all over the world. We've got a couple from Seoul, Korea, New York, here in Seattle, Washington. There are several, and Florida is also represented. And I'm excited to be welcoming some of our folks back that have been to our meetings, and also anybody new out there to join us for this weekly Wednesday meeting that starts at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time each and every Wednesday. Go to WeEmpowerYourLife.com and click on the summit ticket, on the calendar tab. That's click on the calendar tab to join us for this meeting. And it's with great honor and privilege that I find myself here representing the We Empower You community. The We Empower You community was founded last year, right as COVID had reared its ugly head. And we kicked it off with a summit in June of last year. And we are actually planning the 7th of our quarterly summits coming up December the 8th in just 2 weeks. So I'm excited to be sharing a little bit about the summit, and I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit of a video that I have regarding the summit, and that way you can see a little bit more about what's going to happen and what has happened at the summit level. So bear with me just 1 second as I bring that together for you, and I'll share my screen, and then we'll be in business, as they say. All right, here we go.
This is about empowering individuals, empowering groups, empowering collaboration, and empowering community. We can help make a massive difference in the world.
I'm going to tell you how to make money online, and I'm going to be talking about it through the Income Activator website platform, the only all-inclusive website platform that is focused on generating revenue.
It's not just celebs who can actually have their own television show. You can have yours today. I'm giving you a free opportunity to do a 5-minute video that we're going to put on worldwide TV.
Jay is basically the man of many faces, many voices. He does up to, what 300 voices? He can do anything.
I want you to have that cold fire where you can take a stand without being positional.
I only associate with people that live according to the same core value system that I live according to.
As long as we want to make money on our business, then I'm going to give you a bunch of integrated profit-making to-do items for your marketing checklist.
We have shattered the glass ceiling of some of the people working on our team, and we are working towards the financial goal of putting money in everybody's pocket.
Have you ever been told you'll never, you can't, you won't, it's impossible? It's impossible. I've been told you'll never, and I can assure you it is possible.
I am on an education movement inspiring influencers who desire to lead their money with the belief that an educated society is an elevated society.
I am helping you to communicate a story about who you are. I'm helping you to market, to attract more of what you want in your life, truly through your image.
I have my book. It would be on Amazon. It is called From Cotton Picking to Dream Weaving. I tell the story about my life and where I am today. In other words, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you definitely want to finish on top.
Storytelling in business is an essential skill. And what do I mean about this? I mean about creating a mind movie in your listeners' heads. So I have 20 years of being in sales, marketing, advertising, and I'm an actor. And not only is storytelling a magnetic skill, but it's also lucrative.
We've been producing live events for coaches, authors, and speakers for 15 years in the virtual space. When COVID hit in March, we took all the things that we learned and we're already doing in the back of the room by live streaming our clients that couldn't, attendants who couldn't come. And we took all of those skills, dove and learned everything that you could possibly learn about Zoom, EventMobi, hopped in, and a few other platforms that we think are really great, and have been taking our clients online in the virtual space and doing quite well and having fun with it.
When you make more money in the business, you can show a profit, that gives you access to more credit.
What I've been doing lately is I've been on red carpets interviewing celebrities at the film festivals, and that's a lot of fun. And I've also been interviewing businesses I come across when I'm going to a restaurant. I say, hey, tell me about your restaurant or whatever. And this kind of thing seems good to promote businesses or just people. You can interview them, and then it helps boost their profiles.
I'm going to be giving away my secret 5-step formula. It is something that people can use with their children, with their friends, with their clients to help make rapid transformation quickly.
I developed a signature 4-pillar system that I use, and it's discover, define, develop, and design. It will take you from the very first step of reaching back and taking a look at what you truly bring into your business to how you show up on social media and invoking your law of attraction to bring your people to you.
I teach you how to do sales from a place of auto selection and a place of connected enrollment instead of the old way of doing sales.
So we have talked about topics like presence, energy, intention. We've talked about other ways of knowing, shamanism.
And when I hear other people tell their stories or talk about how they overcame an obstacle, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not alone.
You and your space are a mere reflection of each other. However, your space is a reflection of your past beliefs, your past way of being, your past thinking, your past choices.
I have a nonprofit that provides housing for youth, homeless youth or foster youth who've aged out of the foster care system. And what we do is we create, of course, the housing, but really what it is it's not just the structure, it's the support systems, business education, mentorship with the business community, and helping them excel in whatever it is they're interested in.
I was so, I can get so caught up in and so busy looking at what he or she is doing, and I don't have as many stores, and I don't have a line out my door. She said, keep your eyes on your own paper.
They're the ones that give you money. They just want to be part of your message, and you don't have to pay them back. If you're kind of endorsing the sponsor, they're getting more business. If the sponsor's endorsing you, you're getting more business. It works beautifully.
Communication is critical, as we know, for success in business, in working with clients, at home, and even when volunteering. So how generations prefer to communicate is actually quite interesting and very significantly. And we need to understand why they communicate differently. If we want to really grow our business, if we want a stronger client base, and if we want to communicate better at home.
We don't know how many memories we're holding that are not connected to our conscious mind. We don't know what information we've stored that gave us a sense of low self-esteem or not being heard or understood.
That kind of discomfort that we feel about just being ourselves, we need to let go of that. We need to forgive ourselves of all the failures, of all the things we could have and should have done.
I was doing something that had meaning to it, and my whole business is based on meaning.
If you're going to walk the walk, you need to teach it as well.
Your beliefs about yourself, who you think you are, how you think you relate to the world, are all projections from your past or from your subconscious mind.
We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned to have the life that is awaiting for us. Everything you do has effect. Everything you do means that you are recreating your life in each and every moment, because that's how unlimited you are. That's how powerful you are.
It's scary when you leave the comfort of corporate America, when you leave the guaranteed day job. It's terrifying. So how many of you have fears as an entrepreneur? You're concerned about money. You're worried about income security. Maybe now for the first time in the last few years, now you have to pay for your own health insurance. Or you're worried about your credit score being dinged. Or your perfect credit score not being so perfect anymore. If you've been concerned with those questions, I want you to know you're at the right place. Only those who can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. And ultimately, it's the belief in your vision that holds the key to creating your own destiny.
What we've been doing is weaving together possibilities and creating a new vision of how we can each make a difference.
So now if you want, you can take out your phone, open up your camera, and put it towards that, QR code, and you'll be able to snap up your summit ticket, which is, of course, complimentary on us, on the house, for the first 500 people that are watching here. And I'm so excited to be welcoming everybody today. There may have been some folks that have joined us here that since I started sharing this. And let me see who else has arrived. Lori Whaley is here now as well. And we've got another friend of the princess, I bet you. Is it Mutale? We have got Aggie Clark. We have Master Nigel Henry, Moria Veston, Pierre Dudony, and others that will be coming here shortly. So thank you everyone for joining us here. I did want to give you a very quick summary of the planning and the behind the scenes that's going on with this summit coming up for December the 8th, because we have always at least 24 speakers that we book on the day to go through this 12-hour marathon day that goes from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. And our platform of speaking opportunities are meant for folks who are coaches, our authors, speakers, consultants, advisors, cheerleaders, and anyone who has a book in them or already has published their book and wants to speak on our platform. We give priority to our speakers that are actually members. And so many of those recur every single quarter. And I'm happy to be welcoming back several of you. I know Lori's going to be speaking again. Master Nigel will be speaking again. Hopefully I can rope Aggie into being a mentor. And of course, the princess will be joining us again this year. And I'm so excited about this program. For those of you who have not been to a summit, it's one of those things where it sounds like a long day, and it is. I'll give you that. But for those people who've signed up to just come for an hour, a session or two, nearly all of them have stayed for the rest of the day once they plug in. So I personally say, just go ahead and block out the whole day, graze, take bio breaks, and just join us for the whole entire time. We have a support team that puts this whole thing together, and it's going to be a fantastic event coming up on December the 8th. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and allow folks to come on back in to the conversation, and then I'll be sharing a little bit more about the membership here as we go through our introductions. So first up, I'm going to just introduce informally is our CFO consultant is Aggie Clark. And Aggie, if you wouldn't mind just giving your 2 cents about being a member, being on the behind the scenes team as well, and what you might have to say about the summit. That would be great.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Bettina, thanks. Yeah, I would recommend that everybody join this, come to the summit. I have learned something every single time I've attended. There are great nuggets of wisdom and different types of wisdom from the different speakers. So it runs the whole gamut of what you can, what you may be interested in and how you want to grow your business, whether it's you're growing yourself personally to then make your business better, you're finding ways to market your business in a different way, you're finding out more about the resources that are part of the We Empower You membership and how to use those even more effectively to grow your business. So yeah, I would recommend that if at all possible that you join the summit for as much of the day as you possibly can. Because there's some really great things there. And behind the scenes, yeah, I'm actually very excited about some of the kind of the updates that you'll be getting here over the next few weeks about the membership, how we're continuing to work hard to make it even more valuable for you, to make it a even richer experience. So been really enjoying working with Bettina. She is very fun to work with, and I hope that you're enjoying the same. So thank you, and I look forward to a great meeting.
Yes, wonderful. And thank you so much for being a part of our team to grow this membership throughout the world. It's so great to have you. We've known each other for quite a long time, and the fact that you believe in me as you do just means the world to me. So I also worked recently with one of your consulting clients, and he's also a member of the We Empower You community. And we just wrapped up doing his 5-minute spotlight. So that is something that is a member benefit. And we're not quite yet prepared to show it because we have some little modifications we're going to be doing. But hopefully by next week, we'll be able to share that with you all. And maybe you can comment on that last point about how important it is for members to take advantage of their 5-minute spotlight.
Yeah, I would. He really enjoyed doing it. So my client's name is Anthony, and he had a great time doing the 5-minute spotlight. And it's something that he can use. We're going to put it on the television, and that's one of the benefits. He's going to upload it onto his website. We're going to feature it in his social media, and it tells the story of his business. It also, what it did for him is going through the 5-day challenge. I think what it is that he was able to bring together that elevator speech about his business. So even though he knew all of those things about his business, he hadn't really brought it together in a concise, hey, this is what I do. This is where I came from. This is how my business grew from my father, my grandfather, and here's what we're doing today. And here's how we're bringing it into the next century and making a difference, and how we want to make a difference for other people. And he brought that all together by going through the 5-day challenge with Bettina. So there's a lot of different types of value you can get from that exercise. And at the end of the day, then you end up with a 5-minute video that you can use on multiple platforms and potentially grow from there with more videos. So it's a great exercise, and I would highly recommend that you all do that. All of the members take advantage of that. Like I said, there's multiple benefits from going through that exercise and getting your video.
Great. And I just pulled up the Veltex Advisors site, which is Anthony's site. Mm-hmm. And of course, Lee was instrumental in giving him a tagline around Spot the Difference. And this really cute dog that has half spots and half white. And it's just, it came together brilliantly. We worked with Anthony, with, Larry Domenico, who did both of these videos. The one that he did for Anthony will show next week, as well as the one I just showed you. And he's our resident videographer. He offers a really great rate for folks to produce the actual 5-minute spotlight. Putting the 5-minute spotlight on the WWTVN is provided by Shay Vaughn, and that's a member benefit. So we're talking about member benefits here today because we want to lean in every single week going forward as to some of the benefits that you have that are sitting right there in your membership that you may or may not be taking advantage of. And so I want to make sure that folks have a chance to see, like, this is a really great example of the Veltex advisors website. They all operate just about the same on the front end. Aggie, what is yours is straight to the money, right?
Right to the money.
Oops, right. Right to the money. And this is another example of right to the money. And Aggie is just full of resources here, money resources, money entertainment, make money now. Everything that really she finds, she puts up here. So folks, really write this one down, writetothemoney.com. You're going to want to know all about what Aggie is up to. These money resources that you're recommending, we're tapping in, of course, as the We Empower You company, and financing options are included. There's grants, funding opportunities, you name it. And of course, we can cross-pollinate. So you've also got Veltex Services here, and you have your other consulting company listed in here. You've got our summits here, our membership here. So it's a really great opportunity to kind of, dovetail nicely with one another. So thank you so much, Aggie. And now next up, I'm going to have a more formal introduction. I'm going to introduce Master Nigel Henry to the stage, and he's going to lead us in the further introductions of all of you. He's going to use a very specific context so that you're speaking from your heart and also from your purpose, your mission, and your vision. So with that said, let me welcome back to the stage, Using Your Voice as Your Moneymaker is his topic, featuring Master Nigel Henry. Since 1999, Master Nigel has been developing and marketing mastery performance and activation tools, distinctions, and practices that are intended for unleashing the greatness of the extraordinary beings like me who are emerging, innovative, disruptive, highly gifted, high performance, highly sensitive, deep thinking, heart-centered, purpose-driven, entrepreneurial change angels. And as fellow change angels, Master Nigel's responsibility is for the growth and expansion of the change angel activation movement that he has created, whose business mission is locating and assembling and activating 144,000 tribe members like me, who have a life calling for making massive, rapid, beneficial changes on the planet. Welcome, Master Nigel. It's great to have you back.
Okay, thank you. Greetings, everyone. My job today is to bring out the core, the essence of our members, whose heart is really designed to give value to the world through our businesses and our offerings. So I have a little diagram that I use. I wonder if you can see that. Can you see that, Bettina? Max it out. Yeah, you see this picture? And so what I found out is that people, everyone, all the business owners, coaches, authors, speakers, we're all contributors. And what we're really contributing to our customers, our marketplace, is value. This red line represents value. And the value starts in our heart and goes through our personality and then is amplified by our business, which then makes an impact in the world, in the marketplace that we serve. And so my approach to introducing people is to find out what is in their heart and what is the impact that it eventually has in the world once they put it through their business systems and their marketing and all that. So with permission, I would just like, who would like to go first? Let's see. Aggie is a great role model, so I'll start with her. Let's see. How do I put you on share? Okay. So can you? Well, I can see this picture, so I'll just stop sharing now, and then we can meet Aggie. Oh, I've lost my image. Here's my. Yes. Can you see me now, Aggie?
Yes. I can see you.
Oh,
I can't see the image or the chart, but I can see you.
Let me put it back up so you can see it. Share. So you see it now?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to start here at the core, and the word core means the heart. I think it's the French for heart is core. So in the heart we found your core identity is stored there, however you see yourself on a sort of spiritual level, that's who you are. And when I look at people, I see angels, but they might see themselves differently. And in the core is also their purpose, their gifts, their core values, and their vision of the impact they want to make in the world. So would you like to start off with number one? What kind of identity would you say is at your core?
I think I'm someone who wants to be helpful, who wants to be, when I interact with people, what I'm hoping is that they feel better than after they've interacted with me than before. So a positive type of an impact. And that's so I don't know if that's what you're looking for with identity, but that's how I see myself. It's somebody who's trying to make a positive impact as I go around through whatever it is that I'm doing in very small ways. I'm not trying to, move a mountain, but I wouldn't mind, moving little pebbles around on the mountain to make it an easier path.
So at your essence is you're a person, or your essence, when anyone comes around you, they have a positive experience. They leave your presence better off than how they met you. Is that a fair summary?
That is my intention.
Yes, and intention lives in the heart. I just want to say that. So yes, that has been my experience of Aggie. Now I'm biased. I'm going to try and withhold my bias because I'm prejudiced in terms of what I think that is. So, okay, now that we know what your identity, how it expresses itself, what would you say your purpose is? And one way to think of purpose is when the creator was manufacturing you in the spiritual, your essence was being put together, the creator had a change in the world in mind. Like, if I create this person, this being, and bring her into the world, she'll change the world in some way. So what was the purpose of, you think, your life? Why do you think you were created?
I think it was to help, so I'll just say I really like business. So I think I was put on here to help people, whatever it is that they're doing, to help them do it better or more effectively or more efficiently or whatever, whatever the definition of that is that the person needs, because to me, business is not work. It's really fun and interesting. And there's so many different ways that you can have a business that gives value, but also, money comes back to you, value goes out to somebody else. But it's not always with a for-profit. It could also be for a nonprofit, but there's, you can work really hard and not get much done, and you can work really hard and get a ton done. And I like to help people get to more of getting more done with the effort that they're putting out. That's, you put out 100, whatever's of energy, you can, what are you getting from that? And I want to see you get as much as possible.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that it sounds like you make people more efficient.
Efficient, effective.
Yes.
To spend the same amount of energy and get more out of it.
Exactly. Small input, big impact.
Mm-hmm.
Leverage. I mean, all of that is the word for that. She's a multiplier.
I like that. Yeah.
If you engage with Aggie, you will find that your productivity, efficiency, impact increases with less effort. Small effort in, big impact out. That's because Aggie's in the house. All right. Now, we clearly see your purpose and your identity. What gifts do you think you have at your core that allows you to do that? What's some of your gifts, if you could share them with the people?
Yeah, one of the one that I want to share is that I can take a really complex problem and slice it up into simple pieces so that you can start dealing with them. And that's what I did in my career, and that's what I do now. I can see the pieces of the puzzle. I can see the trees in the forest. I can also see the whole forest. So I can see the big picture, but I can also go deep and see what's making up the forest or making up the pieces of that issue or the problem, and dissect that and make them in bite-sized pieces to tackle. I can simplify really complicated problems.
And that's the natural gifts that you have. You didn't go to the university to get trained in that, right?
No.
So you're basically bringing your gifts together to deliver your business offering. Whatever you offer is taking advantage of your natural gifts, which I heard is one is the ability to see the big picture and also to see the small picture, the small components. So we call it the gift of sight. She can see, she has multidimensional seeing, right? I can see the big picture, and I see what you're talking about. And I can also see all the components that are necessary that make up your big picture. And also I can see how to bring them together to achieve what you intended, right? That is a super gift that only a few people have. And it also lends itself beautifully to consulting when people have problems and complex issues that they can't really get working, Aggie's the person to see because she's gifted like that. Beautiful. Okay. Now, what we found is that people who have these kind of gifts, they can abuse their gifts. So what we found out, their core values actually allows them to honor the purpose that they were designed for. So what would you say are some of your top 4 or 5 core values that govern how you conduct yourself in the world?
Okay. So one is treat people the way that they want to be treated and the way that I would want to be treated. Most of the time that's the same way, but to treat them well, to respect people. Respect isn't, it's earned, but it's also, you start with respect. I mean, you can lose it, but you should start, you start with having it. Everyone's got that. So I believe that we should be respecting each other and be respectful. I believe I should be kind. We should be kind to each other. There's a lot of people that just are not kind in this world right now. And we could use a lot more of that. And I also think it's important to be, not just looking at the world from your own vantage point, but to look at it from other vantage points, because all of us on this Zoom call, we could look at an issue and tell a story about it. And you would hope that you would get one story told by multiple people, but there's also a chance that you'll get multiple stories because everybody has seen it a different way. So not just standing in your own shoes, but standing in other, trying to stand in other people's shoes as well, I think is important. And I think that that we should be showing each other love and compassion on a regular basis.
That was beautiful. Would you like to recap your core values again? Because
I don't know if I would even say them the same way, but yeah, we'll have to just watch the recording.
All right.
That'd be the easiest way to hear them again.
Yes. So the other core thing that's stored in the heart is a vision. And usually that vision is the impact that you will have in the world, assuming that everything works out in terms of your personality and your business, the way that you run your business. There's a vision of the world that you have. Would you like to share that in your heart, your ideal view of the world, if everything could go your way?
If everybody's living in my world, it would be a very pleasant place to be, and people would be taking care of each other and trying to help each other be the best versions of themselves. And that's what, from with a consulting standpoint, that's what you try to do, right? You're trying to take your client and help them be the best version of themselves in their business, or, if you do personal consultation, it's the best version of themselves personally. If it's business like I do, it's, I want their businesses to be successful. I want them to be successful in business, whether it's someone who works for me, someone I'm consulting with, someone who just wants some free advice. I'm definitely willing to, to give that, but I'd like to, see us be the best versions of ourselves, so that as we move on to the next phase, then we've got another step up the growth ladder that we're going, and we're learning the lessons that we're here to learn right now.
And so the result in the world would be the final result.
Yeah, the result would be that individuals would be increasing in their skills and being better at what they're doing, being happier at what they're doing, being more effective at what they're doing, and whatever impact they're creating, whatever legacy they're creating. Yeah. I'm a behind the scenes person. I'm not the person who's going to be out in front trying to change the world. I'm the one who's going to be supporting the people out in front trying to change the world. I'm a much better number 2 than a number 1 person.
Awesome. All right, that was beautiful. Oh, would you like to tell us a little bit about the business vehicle that you use to deliver all of your core gifts and values, etc.? Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, right now it's doing some consulting. So for example, I am working behind the scenes with Bettina on the We Empower You program. I've also got a couple of other clients, like the gentleman we talked about, Anthony, and helping him. So for me, it's a consulting. I used to have team members who worked for me. So I was in a larger company and I had quite a number of team members. And so then I would do it as as a mentor coach to the people in the organization. But since I'm sort of a free radical right now, it's through consulting.
And what's the name of your business and where can they find you?
Well, the name is, so I operate under the business name of Nexus Solutions. And I'm really, I mean, honestly, not actually looking to expand right now. My capacity is kind of at the top. So, but certainly you can, which is unusual as we're joining, as we're part of the We Empower You movement, because we're trying to, increase our business. I'm sort of tapped out right now until I find a consulting partner.
Beautiful. All right. Who would you like to hear from next to share their core and their impact and their vehicle? Who do you recommend?
I would recommend Moria. I would love to hear from Moria. I loved what she had to say last week, and I would love to hear more.
Hey, Moria, you're on the stage. So we're going to start, greetings. We're going to start over here, and then we're going to talk about here, and then we're going to talk about here. Okay?
Sure.
So, using the usual format, at your core, when you examine yourself, you're like, who am I at my core? What's the essence of Moria? Who would you describe yourself as? And go ahead.
Someone who wants to make a difference in any way I can, who loves to communicate and listen, and who pursues pleasure every day.
Now, these are the attributes of that someone. And can you wrap it up in a name? I know I have a bias, but if you have a different word for that, if you were to package all those attributes, what would you call it?
I guess probably exploration and exploring every possible resource and opportunity and new experience that I can. I just love to find out and share new things.
All right. Well, question for you. When you were being manufactured in the spiritual realm where, before you got a body, and the creator was looking at the world and like, okay, we'd like to create a being that makes a difference on the planet. What purpose do you think the creator had in mind for your life? What is your life purpose?
It's probably along the lines of communication, because to me, if I can really hear everybody and not judge them, but just try to connect with their feelings and needs, I think that can solve all kinds of situations for myself and for anybody out there. So I've been active in nonviolent communication for about 20 years.
So that was a purpose? That was why.
To make a difference, especially through communication.
All right. The purpose is making a difference through communication.
Yeah.
Now, what about some of your natural gifts? Are you a gifted person?
I feel like I am. At age 80, I'm walking as fast as anybody can. People don't necessarily keep up with me, so I feel very alive and active in my life. And I also feel like even though I'm more retired than not, it's still important to me to make a difference with anybody I'm talking to. Even if there's someone that is in my life that doesn't see life the way I wish they would, I want to be there for them and let them know that they're doing the best they know how, just as I am, and so we're both fine.
So have you ever sat down and said, what are my gifts? Like how Aggie noticed that she had the gift of seeing and small pictures, big pictures, she's got the gift of sight and problem solving. What are some of your gifts that you think you have?
I think I'm pretty good at insight and intuition, and at listening to understand, and at being ready, willing, and able to take on whatever feels good and doable and helpful.
Awesome. Listening, willing to take on what's good, gift of intuition. Sounds like you're a gifted person. Now, what about the values that govern your movement? What are the core values that run your life, that you live by?
One of them that I think of right away is that, to me, it's very important to always feel peaceful. And so anytime I notice I'm feeling crabby or sad or annoyed or whatever, I stop as soon as I'm aware of it and I say, what would feel good right now? And so to me, it's staying in a place of peace and acceptance and being ready for what comes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Now, so we've heard your identity, your purpose, and some of your gifts and your values, the strongest one being at peace. What is your vision for the world? Assuming that you delivered your gifts through your business and through your offerings and the world changed, what is the vision that you have for what the world would look like once, thanks to Moria?
To me, the highest result would be acceptance of what is and knowing that anything is possible if we work together.
So people are accepting what is, and they are now knowing that all things are possible when we work together. Because
yes.
So that's the overall impact that you have on the planet. Great, that's awesome. Now, what vehicle are you using to create that impact? What's the name of your business and how is it working? Who are you serving with that business?
My business is called Communication Coaching, and I'm reaching out on social media with resources and questions and thought-provoking ideas, and I'm having one-on-one conversations, coaching kind of things when that is appropriate and wanted by both sides.
Now, are you here to serve everybody on the planet, or is there an ideal avatar that would be the best match for you and would make the biggest difference when you serve that avatar? The impact that you have in the world is much more leveraged. Who would you say is your ideal avatar for your business, in your business?
Wow. Which person?
Well, who are you looking to serve? If you could pick a marketplace or a type of person, who do you prefer serving? Who would benefit the most from your offerings?
People who are not satisfied with their life, who are putting themselves and others down. I would like more than anything that anybody at any time can find something that feels good in their life, even if there's lots of other things that don't feel good.
All right. If someone who's in that condition wanted to find you, where do they find you? What's the name of your business, and what's the best way to connect with you?
They can go to the website Moria Veston, or on that same website is Communication Coaching. So that's probably easier to remember, communicationcoaching.net. And I'd be happy to leave my phone number if people would like that.
Awesome. Well, let's send them to communicationcoaching.net.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll get all the other information from you and experience the essence of Moria and find out how she can help them to have an impact in the world. Okay, thank you, Moria. Who would you like to hear from next?
Well, I don't see the names of the other people here, so
I was going to suggest Princess Wakigo,
yes,
Abraham Pam, since you have a connection with her. If
yes.
she's available.
So Princess, yes.
Greetings, Princess. Are you here? Is she muted? Let's see.
Oh, she might be muted. Let's go with Swarna then.
Greetings, Swarna. How are you?
Hi. Unfortunately, I have to rush my kids to school.
Okay. So you,
Yes,
how many
so
minutes?
I can't talk right now. I'm listening to you though.
Oh, do you have a business?
I'm going to school.
Yes, yes. So you're taking your children to school.
Yes,
Before
yes.
you go, do you have any business at all?
Oh, no. I'm looking forward to start my own business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yes. Well, who's next? Bettina.
About Mutali.
Mutali.
Also
Go
from
ahead.
Seoul. Mutali, are you there? It's the middle of the night there, so. All right. If you guys unmute at some point, you can always jump in. How about we go with Pierre next?
Pierre, can you hear us, Pierre? Is anyone there? Is there something up with the technology? Pierre, are you there? On mute. Oh, there he is. Pierre, can you hear me?
Hold on.
Hello?
Visiting my in-law.
There you are.
Yeah, bring your microphone down to your mouth.
You're right.
Okay, there you are.
Okay. Yes. So
have you been listening to the other interview with the other guests?
yes, I've been listening to I've been listening.
Excellent. Well,
hi, Nigel. Sorry, you called me twice. I was multitasking.
Oh.
Okay, we'll call. You can go after Pierre.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. Okay, Pierre. We're
Yes,
doing a interview with each guest, and what we're finding out is what's in their heart, the core of the person, and then we're asking about the impact they're here to have on the planet by sharing what's in their heart, and then we're looking at the way that they're doing it using their business. And so the more you can share about your essence, your core, is the greater the value we found it has when people are interacting with you. So can we start off with, at your core, at your heart, at the center of your being, in the spirit, what would you say is your identity? Who are you? Who is this guy in this body?
I would say I'm an encourager.
An encourager. Can you say a bit more about an encourager? What is that?
What I do, I'm like to encourage people, and through that, I help them to make transition from where they are to where they should be.
All right. So that's your identity. Let's talk about your purpose. When the creator was manufacturing you and saying, I would like to put somebody on the planet to change it and enhance it in some way, what specific purpose were you created for? Most people don't know what it is yet, so they just have to share whatever comes up for them. So go ahead. Don't feel like you have to give me the right answer. There is no right answer. What do you think your life purpose is?
My purpose is to help as many people as I can.
In what way?
In every way, especially I would say, whenever I meet a person, I find out exactly where they are and what they want to achieve in life. Therefore, I can work with them. Let's say, for instance, one other thing that I've been doing over the years is helping people um, to realize the American dream, which is for us most foreigner, one of our biggest dreams to own our own home. Okay, being a realtor, I always find out exactly what I can do to help those the people that I come in contact with, and especially in the state of New York. I find out all the program that's available. I'm dealing with several banks now that giving $10,000 toward their down payment, and they can get anything between $20,000 to $40,000 from the state of New York toward purchasing the property. The only
So,
Go
wait,
ahead.
I just want to, we're going to get to your business in a minute, but it sounds like what I heard is your identity. I'm an encourager, and you help. Your purpose is to help people to get from wherever they are to
Mhm.
wherever they want to be. Is that
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And especially if they have a dream, then you can encourage and help them to achieve their dreams. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So excellent. And you kind of gave us an example of somebody who's a foreigner who has an American dream, and you encourage them, and you've already started doing whatever it takes to help them to achieve their dream. Yes?
Absolutely.
We're still inside of the core here. Before we get out into how you do it, what are you a gifted person? Were you
Yes, I
born a
am.
gifted
Yes,
child?
I am. Yes, I
Can
am.
you,
Yes, I am.
well, how many gifts do you think you have?
Oh, I can say I have my first gift is teaching. I have the gift
Gift
of
of
giving,
teaching?
teaching.
Yes.
Uh, I have the gift of giving, administration. Uh, I can name. I think I would say at least five gifts.
You only
Um,
said three though.
I got
Administration,
oh
teaching.
you got teaching, administration, giving, and you caught me off guard. But
I
it's
know.
five. I know.
Yes,
I,
I
I have
think.
the gift. I have the gift of listening. Well, that's one of the things that I do
Yes.
best. I listen to people. I don't.
Yes.
I like to listen to people and try to understand where they come from, and
Yes.
then try to help them that way. So,
Now,
yes.
let me interrupt for a minute. What I found is most people never think about their gifts unless they're using it in their business. But when you have discerning people, they can see your gifts. So I just want to quickly check in with Aggie. Can you see any gifts that he has that he hasn't mentioned? Just from your discernment.
Well, I think he's very thoughtful, for one.
The gift of thoughtfulness. There you go. What else do you see? What about Maria? Can you see his gifts that he hasn't mentioned? And Bettina as well. Hello, Bettina. What are his gifts? You probably know him better than most of us.
Speaking.
I
Gift
see.
of speaking.
I see you with as little as I know you. I see you as very open and receptive.
The
Thank
gift
you.
of openness and receptiveness. You should be writing these down, dude, because you're much more gifted than you're aware, is what I'm saying. And the people on this call can see your gifts, and gifts come out when you name them.
Yes.
Bettina, you were saying, what was his gift? What are some of
Yes,
his
I
gifts?
think he pinned one down, which is the gift of speaking.
Yes, he has the gift of speaking. Now, is Swana still listening? Based on your discernment, Swana, can you see any of his gifts that he's not mentioned? You can unmute while you're getting your children to school. Maybe she's not there. What about the princess? Can you hear his gifts, princess? Where is she? I think if people stay unmuted, then they'll be more engaged.
Yeah.
Sorry
about it.
Yes, princess. Go ahead. Can you notice any gifts that Pierre has that he hasn't mentioned?
I think he covered, from listening to what he said, as an encourager. I think
Yes.
and as an encourager, he also has the follow-up step, which is making sure that people move from point A to point B. And that's something I like about people, when somebody's actionable. So from listening to him, I see that it's not only that he's a thinker, he's also somebody who takes actionable actions to get things done. And if you're a person with those two qualities, then make you be a money making machine, because then you
Ooh,
have ideas, and
I
then
like
you'll be
that.
able to you have the capacity and the visual capacity to bring it to life, and then make an income from it, or empower other people to make an income. So in that light, I see an affinity with him, because that's what I do,
Well, we're going
changing.
to come to you. Wait,
What?
we're going to come back to you. We're just bringing out his gifts because he's too modest. Pierre, you've been too modest with your gifts. You need to, you're loaded, is what I'm telling you. And we can see it. And what I'll say to Pierre is to actually write down all 21 of your gifts. Did you hear that?
Yes,
21.
21.
And when you name them, they activate. If you just ignore them, they remain dormant and you won't make as much money, because your gifts are just packages of value waiting to convert to cash. So God intended great things for you. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
I believe so. I believe so much. You know, I've been doing what you call sitting for thought. You know, I get up early in the morning. That's why I sit for thought, and I start writing things down, things that I have to
Awesome.
do, and the steps that I have to take. And believe me, I've been writing things down for years, and the past couple of years, I have accomplished step by step
Right.
things that I have written down as a
Now,
goal to reach.
now you're using your gifts to do that, by the way. So what my encouragement to you, Mr. Encourager, is to get to know more of your gifts. Because
Yes.
the more of your gifts that you're aware of is the more impact you can have on the planet, because you were built gifted.
Yes.
And so, as you can see, we can sense your gifts, but if you don't speak them, they won't get into your business and your offerings. All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's move to number 4 now. Can you see number 4?
Yes.
What are your values? What are the values that govern you? What we found is that people, at least I found in my business, is that I tend to get along with people who share my values. And when we don't share values, we don't get along. So what are your values that people should know about if they would like to work with you?
My value is that everything that I do, it should be pleased, first of all, to my creator. Second, it
What's
should
the name
be
of that value?
my God. My God.
So it's a value, like your value.
Yes. Yes. Because
So let me just,
go ahead.
no, you don't need to explain your values. You just have to name them. So for example, here's a value that I have, honesty. Unless if the person doesn't have honesty, I can't work with them. So
yes, honesty. Let's put it honesty.
So that's one. What else
That's
do you
one.
have?
Trustfulness.
Choice is another important value to you. What else?
It's got to be, let me find, everything that we do, it has to be worthwhile for all inclusively for everybody involved. Let's say, for example, when I do things, it should not be done for me only, for my own benefit, but to the people that I'm serving. It should be a win-win situation.
Right. Okay. So let's call that the win-win. That's one of your core values.
Yeah. Let's call it a win-win situation for now.
Excellent. So we've got honesty, win-win. I forgot the second one you mentioned.
The second one I said trustworthy.
Trustworthy. Excellent. What else is important to you? That's 5.
Trustworthy. You know what? I'm gonna write down these things so I can write them down so I don't get caught.
I know.
I don't get caught. I don't get caught again.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you why the values are important.
Yes.
Because when a customer shares your values, there's an automatic fit. When they don't share values, like if the customer believes in dishonesty, but you believe in honesty, you will find that there's constant arguments and you can't really get the business done because we don't share value. Or if you have a business partner or you're trying to partner with another business, unless there's shared values, they're not usually aligned very well. So yes, it's worth knowing what your values are and publishing them so that people can know where you stand. All right, let's move to number 5. Assuming that you are absolutely successful on the planet, your business works, you know who you are, people are aligned with your values, your gifts are going out into the world, and everything is beautiful. What would the world look like? What is your vision of the world, assuming that you are successful?
My vision is that that's something that I think about. I wrote down a long time ago. I have to get to the point in my life that everything that I buy, it should be at a discount.
That's your vision for the world, man. The vision for the world is what people are doing.
But I would say when I say for myself and for the world, I'm looking a vision to have like a supermarket. Let's say a supermarket like Walmart, like Costco, like BJ's, membership driven, but not for profit. Like a community centered. You know what I mean? Where the members come, they get what they want at a discount. They don't have to pay full price for it because it's not profit driven. You know what I mean?
So let me tell you what I think I'm hearing, and maybe Aggie, because she's much better at these. Tell me how she's hearing it. Actually, let me ask Aggie, what are you hearing of his vision, what he's saying?
What I'm hearing is that he wants people to find a value or additional value above maybe what a set price is. So that might be with a discount, and then you get the main value, or you pay full price, but you get additional value. And that may come as a for-profit or a not for-profit venture. But he's looking, I feel like what he's saying is that he wants people to get more value than the price they're paying for what they're purchasing.
Absolutely. Can I break it down to you a little bit?
Yeah.
I find out at this time right now, as a matter of fact, I was reading just a while ago. I was searching one of the company. Send me an email that anybody that I recommend send to them, I can get $100 for each person for each referrals. And that's not only that. You know what's the word? And marketing, it's not referral, affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is that anything you can get paid from Amazon by referring people to Amazon. You can get the telephone company in New York. I'm just talking about New York. If you refer somebody to the phone company, they give you $100. I remember Robin Hood was giving you 5 share a couple of months ago for any person that you recommend to them. Those are the things that I gravitate to. So when I get those information, I grab them and share it with my group. Okay, and I share the information to get more out of your dollar. You know what I mean? So that's what I like group buying things, then share it. We don't pay the full price. You're actually getting big bucks for your money, and I did create it. Okay, I watch what's happening around me. There are other communities who's doing it already.
So that's the world that you'd like to see in the future.
Absolutely.
Can you summarize that, Aggie, in business? How? Because that's your gift, right? The big picture.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that. I believe that my gift, but a lot of time I have to think back. How did I get where I am? Then I think back home in Haiti. My mother was a merchant. Okay, my mother was a merchant. My father was a seaman, so he used to travel from Haiti to Nassau, buying mahogany, and sell to Nassau and then buy stuff from Nassau to bring back for my mother to sell. So I grew up in it. And I didn't even realize I was talking to my brother some time ago. My brother, when I come here to New York, my brother already had his own business. Okay. He already had his own business. Then I joined him. I went to school, I learned how to speak English, then you get a degree and everything. And I opened
Now,
my first business when I was 26 years old.
beautiful. Now, it feels like I'm thinking that we should have a special spot at some point to hear your full story because it sounds very rich of how you got to who you are today. So
Thank you.
today, how many businesses do you have? How many of these vehicles do you have now?
The next thing I want to tell you, after I read Paul Allen's book, Multiple Stream of Incomes, I believe that I should have my money come from different area. So therefore, I'm a financial advisor, and I'm a real estate broker for over 37 years, and I'm a mortgage broker. Now also, I'm a motivational speaker.
Wow, several. Now, question for you. How is the We Empower You membership enhancing your business enterprise?
A
How are you
lot,
leveraging?
a lot.
For those people who don't know, can you give us some examples of the way that the We Empower membership that you have is enhancing your streams of income?
Another thing that I have to tell anybody who looking at the package, don't look what you're paying, look what you're gonna get from it. Okay, what you're putting out will be maybe become a stumbling block between you, because the package, the all the benefit that you get from the package automatically outweigh what you're paying, and you really follow um everybody in the network. You have a lot of stuff around you that can help you escape a lot of mistake that we do while we're gonna. That's the thing about it. There's a lot of stuff that we went through. You don't have to go through them because we've been through them ourselves.
All right. So it's what I'm hearing is that there's some shortcuts that you benefited from the pack from being in this membership. It's helped you to bypass some mistakes and shorten your path to your destination, your business destination. And has it helped you to increase the number of vehicles that you have?
Definitely. And one of the things I would pinpoint about it, having Lee as a coach been very, very instrumental, because she doesn't tells me things that I want to hear, but she tells me things that I should know. You know what I mean? Things that
Yeah.
she knows that's gonna be for my own benefit. So, and when I talk to her, I said I listen. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
What would it be if I'm going to a doctor, see a doctor, then I'm not taking the medication that the doctor prescribed me? You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So
So, in terms of growing your enterprise, who who are you? Who's if you had to pick an audience that you're looking for right now, who would you like to meet or to be connected with? Who would add the most value to your enterprise right now?
right now, I'm catering to doctors, attorneys, lawyers, because I've been at the bottom for a long time and I have developed the skills. One of the worst things that we can have is fear. We feel that, since I'm in that field, I cannot approach an attorney. I cannot approach an a doctor. But you know what happened? Twice I was talking to two attorneys, and they were talking to me while they were talking to me, and I was processing the information. By the time that I answered them, they said, "Man, you're bright." I say, "Is that so?" Okay, they say, "Yes." You know, nobody ever give me this kind of answer. Then that tells me, if you can pick up that I have enough knowledge to process your information so I can really do business with you. Okay. And that's when I feel I become confident. You know what I mean? I become confident that
So,
that way.
so right now, you would like to meet more doctors, attorneys, professional services.
Yes.
And how would you add value to them if they showed up in your space?
Okay. I'm develop a direct marketing business where I'm getting leads to attorneys, lead to attorneys,
Okay.
lead to lawyers, leads to
Excellent.
mortgage broker, insurance broker. So that's really enriched my business.
And this is using the income activator system?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, that was beautiful, man. We need to hear more from you. You're clearly a very gifted person with a lot of business acumen and a lot of value that you can add to the world. Who would you like to hear from next?
I think we mentioned the princess would go next if she's available.
Yes. The princess, Her Majesty, we call upon you.
What did you say?
Wakiko, Princess Wakiko.
I'm here. So,
Yes,
so
princess.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen.
All right, just to recap, what I am doing is this diagram represents the way that value flows from your core, your center, into the world. And money moves in the opposite direction of value flow. All right. So we know you're going to make money as long as you're putting out value, but value originates from your core. And if we could get into your core, which is your spiritual essence, then we're getting to the source of the princess. And so what I found is in the core, there are these 5 attributes that once you speak about them, it amplifies the value that you put out. So we start off with, at your core, at your essence, on a spiritual level, who are you? What is your identity? What is your spiritual identity?
My spiritual identity is love, because God is love. I grew up being a loved child. So throughout my life, I've experienced love, apart from the occasional difficulties with other people, but I've been a favored and loved child. And so when people interact with me, what assumes from me is love. And because I have love in my core, and that's what propels me, that I do not like suffering, seeing people suffer. And that's why I wanted to be a lawyer, because I wanted to fight the injustice and inequality in our society that I came to see. But then God had a different plan for me. I became a speech therapist, and
Wait. Sounds like you're describing all the roles that you play in your personal life. But I want to stay in your spiritual life and ask you about what was God thinking when you were being manufactured? What purpose did God have in mind for you when God was looking at the world and like, I'm going to make this love entity? For what purpose? What is your life purpose?
My life purpose is to change lives. I change the lives of special needs children and their families. I change the lives
now,
of
when you say change it, in which direction are you saying change it so that what essence comes out of them?
I make children who cannot speak to speak. I make children who cannot express themselves to express themselves. I bind families that would have broken up because they have special needs children to stay together, bringing succor to them. I make women who cannot create wealth to start creating wealth. I make women who cannot see value in themselves start to see value in themselves. I make women who they have lost hope to see hope in everything they have. I make women see that even in the little they have, they can create wealth. So that's love.
Awesome. So as you were speaking, what I heard is like each person was created, God had an intent for them, and somehow in the world they have forgotten or lost the ability to do that. And it's like you go like, this is what God intended for you, so I'm going to make it happen. It's like you restore the thing back to its original intention.
Yeah.
Whatever that, yes, is that, it's like, do you feel like a restoring, the purpose is to restore the original intent, God's intention.
Yes. Restore.
So we have the encourager and the restorer. Yes, Pierre. Unmute. You put the microphone in front of your mouth.
Princess is speaking my language, and
yes.
I would like to connect with Princess because over the years excuse me.
Put your information in the chat.
Okay.
All right, and then
okay, I got it. Okay.
And let me continue with the interview.
Sure, no problem.
Princess. Well, thank you for that. I love that when you interrupt. Thank you. Yes, Princess. So your essence is love and your purpose is restoration of the original.
Yes.
So are you a gifted person?
Yes, I am gifted.
Slightly gifted, multi-gifted, super gifted. How gifted are you? Are you just regular, extreme? You know?
Super gifted.
Super. If you're super, you have to name them.
Oh, anything I touch turns to gold. I'm a wealth creator.
But you have to name your gifts. We know that that's one of your gifts. Okay, what's the name of that gift? Right there, you just spoke a gift.
Okay, my gift. How do I name them?
I know.
Okay.
Let me just say this for everyone else. Let me just disrupt you for. To the degree that I can name my gifts, like I have the gift of intuition, the gift of discernment, the gift of seeing, the gift of restoration, the gift of love. When I name them, they activate and I can use them. But if I don't name them, they remain dormant and I might forget about them. It's like having children, not even children, like having dogs, that a pack of dogs, and each one of them has a function. But if you forget that the dog exists, you won't be able to use the dog to do what it's supposed to do. So gifts are like that. They want to be named. Pick me. Hey, I'm here. Okay. So anyway,
I have
so
the
if you can name.
I have the gift of. I have the gift of foresight. I have the gift of discernment. I have the gift of prophecy. I have the gift of motivation. I have the gift of giving hope.
Yes. Man, you're loaded, Princess. Are you there?
I'm here.
Uh-oh. Are you aware that you're loaded?
I think so. I know so.
Great. So there's a rule that applies to the super gifted. Here it is. To whom much is gifted, much is required.
Yes. And that is why you see I never stop giving, and I never stop I'm never out of tone with my gifts. As they come to me, I write them down and execute them.
Well, I recommend homework, same as for Pierre and same as for Moria and all the people I've interviewed, is that this number 3 is where the value originates from. Number 2 drives it out. Number 1 activated, but the packaging, like if we went to your core and unplugged your gifts, you wouldn't put out any more value. But the gift is like a battery of value. That's where your value is coming from your gifts. And so what I recommend for everyone is to do homework. Make a list of 21 gifts that you have, because that's what this red thing is coming from the gifts. So Hold on there, Moria. So now that we have identified that you're super gifted, purpose-driven, your purpose is to restore people, God's intention for people, and your essence is love, what values govern you? What are the values are like the lines that you have to operate in. Because of your sacredness, you're not allowed to go outside of your values. So what are your values so that people know how to interact with you? Princess.
My value lies on transparency, accountability, honesty, and truth. If you have those four, then it's
just
still
those
all
four?
boils down to love. Yeah.
Are they ranked? Is there an order?
For me, it's honesty. You have to be an honest person.
Number one is honesty.
Yeah. The second one is to transparency.
Transparency, number two. Number three?
Accountability.
Accountability. Number four?
What? Dedication or commitment.
Commitment.
Yeah.
Commitment. Do you know, Princess, we share the same top 5 values. I'll tell you one that you haven't mentioned, but you do have, is precision.
Precision.
Yes, I know. Most people have this value. The high-performing beings have precision as a core value, and they're not aware of it. And precision is what makes things increase in value. The Rolls Royce is more expensive than a Volkswagen because it's built with more precision. And precision just means attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yes? So again, these two, number 3 and number 4, is what I recommend that everyone do some work on. This is your essence, the core of your being is your gifts and your value. Those two things affect how you operate in the marketplace. So let's jump to number 5, your vision for the world. There's a vision in your heart, and it's the vision that the world would look like, assuming that everything worked out on the business level, you know, you were totally 100% successful. How is the world different because of your success, Princess?
Like I said, success is measured by individual eyes. It's not a collective success.
No. I'm saying you are successful and everything you did was successful.
Yeah.
But did it make any difference in the world here? Can you see the arrow?
Yes.
What does the world look like now that you're fully successful and everybody you helped became successful? Has the world changed in any way?
The world I'm involved in has changed because all the women who have come in contact with me have changed. They are getting emotional freedom, mental stability, financial independence. They have a voice now. So
beautiful.
having been a founder.
Wait, Princess. The vision is in the future. It's not where you are today. It's not what you've accomplished. It's 10 years out. You're looking into the future and saying, wait a minute. I see the future because I was successful. The world has now changed. And this requires your imagination. Can you use your imagination to see what the world is going to look like because of your success? Your successful work with people. Huh? Go ahead.
I don't need to imagine that because it's happening before me.
Well,
my vision is to empower. My vision is to empower women all around the world, from continent to continent, to make them authentic leaders in their various capacity within their community, and to make life easier for. Coming. That's generic.
Well, that's the mission. What I'm saying, what you're describing is your mission.
You're not allowing me to finish because I don't
like
just.
I'm disrupting you for a reason.
Okay,
I'm disrupting you with permission.
To take you further to what you're asking me, because of the foundation of what I've done for the expatriate spouses around the world, I see a change where the lives of expatriate spouses in any country where they go for them to be able to be life changers for themselves by creating jobs and gaining financial freedom for themselves and taking their destinies into their hands and
here's
seeing
a question for
international
you,
organizations and
Princess.
taking, yes?
Hold on, may I disrupt you for a reason? The reason I'm disrupting you, because the vision is not for you.
It's not for me, it's for them.
I know,
It's for them.
no, it's not for them either. It's for everybody else.
Yes.
And how I'm going to test it, So you spoke in your vision, and now I'm going to ask Maria to tell me what your vision is. Maria, are you there? Is she there?
Her vision is to make a difference for people and make the world a better place because of her efforts.
Yeah, the vision does.
Pardon me?
The vision does not doesn't matter how it got there. Doesn't matter whether she did anything. The vision is like, I have a dream that one day the world will be like this. Martin Luther King had a vision and he didn't actually do anything because he died. So a vision is some picture in the future that she can see. And that is the vision that's making her work and helping these women because she sees the future, because she has the gift of seeing the future. And that's what I'm really asking, not so much how did she get it done and why, but what does it look like? And if you can paint the vision in people's mind, they will also do the work, Princess. That's what I'm asking. If you can, so it says in the scriptures, without a vision, the people perish. With a vision, they will join you in activity. So if you paint the vision first, then the work will get done. That's why I'm interrupted, because you're showing me the mission that you're going to be doing. But I'm saying, can you jump into the future and tell us what it's going to look like when it's finished? Can you tell me what it's going to look like when it's finished? That one, Princess.
By the time it's finished, any woman who is following her husband around the world, like I have done, will not encounter the difficulties I've encountered in trying to
What
be
will
financially.
they have instead? What will they have instead? Are you there?
Yeah, you interrupted, so I don't know what you want.
No, I asked you, you said they will not have difficulties. So I'm asking, what will they have instead of difficulties?
Oh, they'll be able to work. They'll be able to be financially empowered. They'll be able to pursue their career. They'll be able to be change makers in any continent, any country they find themselves outside their home countries.
Now, is this vision only for expatriate, or is it for everybody else on the planet, or just expatriate?
My vision is not to change the whole world. My vision is to change the world of so many women whose life has been made difficult. For other women, they have other people pursuing their dreams and making it possible for them. But for this particular set of women who are in millions, who do not have people to speak for them, I am a change maker for them.
Beautiful. Can you describe that set of women? It's like you're describing your tribe in the world. Who are they? So they can hear your...
They are highly professional women who have left their jobs for their husbands or their wives' careers to progress while their own is on the shelf. These are women who, due to following their wives around, maybe their educational pursuit have been put on hold. Maybe their diplomatic missions have been put on hold. Maybe their businesses have been locked up so they don't lose their marriage and their children. So they choose their family above their livelihood, above their mental health, above their emotional stability. Those are the women I speak on behalf. And those are the women I want to change their future. And that is why I'm a change maker.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Your reason is clear. Your audience is clearer. And the vision for that audience is now clear. What I'm really testing is how well it was heard by others. So I like my litmus test is always Aggie, because she hears big picture. So how are you hearing it? her vision?
I think her vision is one of the clearest that we've heard. She knows her audience. She knows how she wants to help her audience, and she sees what the reality will be for the audience when they have been helped by her. So I'm very optimistic for the women who she will be helping, is helping, and will be helping. Princess, I'm really impressed and excited for the women who will be involved with you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
What I'm doing, Princess, I'm just testing how well your vision was communicated, because that's, to be honest with you, I think that's your secret weapon, is to put the vision out there, and everything else that we talked about is just backup, cavalry. But your vision is your superpower. So let me just test.
Esther, Nigel, can I interrupt for a second?
Yes,
can you
please.
explore for those watching, and also for Princess who was experiencing, the distinction that you were making is very critical, right? So it's when we speak from our vision, which is the grandeur, we're coming from the top of the mountain, and we're anchoring into the future of possibility. So when we speak about going to the mountain, it's less powerful. When we speak about what we're planning to do, plotting to do, trying to do, that is going to the mountaintop. And the distinction you were making in interrupting Princess Wakigo was to get more, to move her to the mountaintop, as uncomfortable as that might seem. Can you explain a little bit more about that process?
I think two words help. One is mission, and the other one is vision. Most people are trained to talk about mission. And how I know I'm talking about mission is if I say the word to. I'm going to do this, to do that, and then I'm going to help. I'm going to help all the women in South Korea, then I'm going to help the ones moving from London to United States. And you see all these words to. Every time I say to, it's a mission. And missions, missions are like assignments that I got to do, and they all end up producing result. Vision is seeing the thing before the work even starts. Vision is what an architect has. You go to the architect, you say, in reality, there's just dirt. There's a plot of land, and it might have some old building on it. And the architect goes into his imagination and sees this new city and what it's going to look like. And oh, my Lord, it's beautiful. And they not only see it, they draw a model that you can see. And they come up with a description of a drawing of the future community building, and they show it to you, the owner. And they're like, do you like this? I'm like, oh, yes, that is so beautiful. I want that. Okay, well, I don't do buildings, says the architect. I just describe things in the future. You need to get a construction person to set up a mission to build what I just painted you. So in terms of the mountaintop, is like a lot of people see the peak and they're like, Nigel, my mission is to climb this mountain and get to the top. You hear that word to? Every time I say it, it's a mission. Now, what Nigel's saying, can you imagine yourself at the mountaintop, sitting there and like, oh my God, this is what it's like being at the top of the mountaintop. Man, the view is awesome. The air is so clean. Oh my God, I love it here. The mountaintop is so beautiful. I'm imagining it while I'm at the bottom of the mountain. Notice I'm at the bottom of the mountain, but my mind is at the top of the mountain. And because I can see from the top of the mountain, my legs want to move faster. So this is where that scripture comes from. Without a vision, the people perish. In other words, if they can't imagine the mountaintop, they won't start the mission. But if you say, hey guys, we're gonna have this beautiful place on the top of the mountain, they're like, wow, really? Is that what it looks like? They all start working. They don't know what they're doing. They're just gonna bring their gifts and their activities to the party because they can see it in their imagination. So what I was asking, why I was disrupting the princess is because she was very clear of the work that has to be done and who she has to serve. But I was disrupting her just to see the finished, when it's finished. And then she did describe that. She says, when it's finished, the women that are in my community will have this world. And that's when it was super clear, because she said, when it's finished. So that's what I'm really asking. Please, can you describe it to me when it's finished? And that makes you an architect. The architect shows you the finished model, and the builder starts from the ground up and starts like, man, we got to put up the roof. Isn't that? Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Does that explain? Or let me test it with the princess herself. Princess, was my explanation useful?
Yes, because as you were talking, so my mission that in the future, the expatriate spouses would have access to job opportunities and will have the freedom to create their businesses in their various countries of residency. My mission is to empower women all around me from continent to continent to make them authentic leaders in their various capacity within their communities.
Excellent. So you heard, as soon as she said mission, she said to do this, to do that, to do that. Means that work has to start happening. My vision is I see that women are now having this, and they have this and this and that. And it's so clear. So Princess, I think you should lead with your vision. Like when you go to do your public speaking and your ambassadorship, you said, ladies and gentlemen, may I share a vision with you, a new world. And then you describe it. We are now in the year 2024, and women are now having this experience, this opportunity, this balance. And who likes that vision? Raise your hand and say, oh, I want it, I want it. Well, to have that vision, I've got to put you to work in my mission. The vision will attract the resources, Princess. It will attract the people to you because you're now a visionary leader, a visionary princess. People that have the vision rule the world, Princess.
Yes.
Any thoughts?
Thank you very much.
Well, can you, before you go, because we still have one more section to ask you about, just summarize your vision again, because it is very inspirational. The vision is what activates the people.
So I should summarize my vision.
For your people, again, because it was beautiful. And when it's beautiful, we like hearing it.
My vision, I foresee in the nearest future that expatriate spouses who follow their husbands will have access to job opportunities. They will have the freedom to create businesses for themselves. They will have the opportunity to impact their communities, and they will have the opportunity to be financially important in their homes. They will have financial voices wherever they are.
Beautiful. Question.
And that the government policy, international policy affecting expatriate spouses will change from the core.
Awesome. Princess, just to give us a scale of the vision, how many people are affected by this vision? In your vision, how many women? Is it women or men? Because some people are
both for women and men who follow their spouses.
Yes. So what's the number? That number will give us the scale of your vision. Is it just a couple of hundred people or 100 million? Go ahead.
At least there are about we're talking about hundreds of millions of spouses, families that is affected.
Just say 200 million.
200
Is it 200 million?
Yes.
There you go. Now, Princess, that vision just had substance. Here's how I would concretize it so that it's really hardcore. It is now 2024, and 200 million expatriate spouses are now enjoying a new world. The government policy has been adjusted. The opportunities for pursuing their dreams of right? You see that? But it's 200 million. That number changed the game. Because you said 200 million, it changes the size of your organization that you got to get this thing done. The mission, it now shapes the mission because you're coming from your vision. This thing now has to be rebuilt, expanded, shrunk down. You see that? You're vision driven versus mission driven. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I like that. That is vision driven now, and sometimes you talk about the mission so that your members feel their importance. Because sometimes when you talk too much about your vision, it becomes a bit exclusive. But when you talk about the mission, you're able to create spaces for the women you want to pull along with you. So when you talk about your vision, you're looking for vision carriers. And once you've had enough vision carriers, then you need to explain your mission, and so that other women who want to follow you can find a place in that mission.
Exactly. Well, you are a vision carrier, and there are rare, by the way, just like there are only a few architects in the world, but there are a lot of builders. The builders are like the missionaries and the mission people, but the architects, they are so rare, but they're responsible for so many buildings on Earth. So that's one of your gifts, Princess, that you have the gift of visioning. It's not gifted, it's not deep, it's limited to a few people. That's why I asked you, are you super gifted or ordinary gifted? By the way, Aggie has that gift. She can see the big picture. Whenever there's a big picture, when you hear that, it means visionary. Yes? Any thoughts, Aggie, just to add? Go.
No, I think that rounding back out with the summary there and explaining the difference between those two is very helpful for me. So thank you.
All right. So now that we have a clear vision of the way that the world is being impacted or will be impacted, seen ahead of time, this is when we build the vehicles or business that is mission driven. Businesses are mission driven in service of a vision. But most people, because they're not vision carriers, they don't know why they just know, hey man, we've got to set up an office in Johannesburg. That's the mission. Should you accept it? But they don't know the big picture of why we have an office in Johannesburg, London, and Moscow. You see that? They can't see the big picture. So let's go. Yes.
Nigel, I'd be really interested in hearing the mission and vision of We Empower You from Bettina.
Oh,
as our visionary leader.
Yes, let's do that next. Let me just round up with the princess to ask her about her business vehicles. Princess?
Yes.
What are the business vehicles that you're currently using to fulfill your missions?
Okay, I have one. I have the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network, which is an NGO where I build capacity of women in over 25 countries around the globe. I have the EPBW and Consultant International. This is for money making, is my personal consultant, where I work with international organizations like banks, where I do consultancy to revive their women's network and to help with gender issues. I also have projects like a Legal Hand project under the NGO, where we deal with vulnerable women, work with the government to see that they have shelter or they are rehabilitated. I started another project called the African Women Entrepreneurs in Diaspora. This is a group where we're seeking to access funds in all the banks around the world, because as African entrepreneurs, once we leave the African continent, we are denied access to funds. And even in diaspora where we are, we're also in minorities that we're not able to meet the criteria to access funds. So we're now negotiating with the African Development Bank to ensure that even though we're outside the African continent, we should be able to access scholarships, funds for our different businesses, because we still are Africans, even though we are in diaspora. So that prompted me to create this new cooperative called the African Women Entrepreneurs in Diaspora, AfriWed. So I also run a special needs center, Petra Speech and Early Childhood Development Center. This is an inclusive setting where I take care of special needs children, both adults and their families, and they all bring in income.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Now, because you're gifted with vision and big, you do things on a massive level. You can help others who are not as gifted as you by adding one core value that I recommend. It's a recommendation. You like me to share that so that you can be received better? Because I think you're someone of your capacity. When someone else who's not as gifted as you, they can get overwhelmed by just listening to you. Have you experienced that, where you start listing your stuff and they just get overwhelmed?
I do experience that, but I always let them know that I'm able to achieve all this because I don't do it alone. Like I said to you, I'm a wealth creator. Yeah. So all these things that I mentioned, I do not run them. I only create them, hand it over. And so I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed with what I do.
Let me just tell you that you were built for big. God had big things for you. That's why you are multi-gifted. And what I found that when people like you just share what you're doing, just literally, like when you were listing your businesses, I could feel my little brain starting to heat up. I could feel it. So to assist you in preventing that from happening to your audience, what I recommend is to number them as you're listing them. So you say, I have 21 businesses. And then, yeah, you just say it straight up front, 21. Number one, NGO. Number two, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, when you put a number on things, people cannot handle it. That's why I just wanted to gift you that. So because otherwise they start storing and they're like, wait, I'm overwhelmed. They tune you out after number three, especially if their brain can only hold three. So if you say, listen, I have 20, like Richard Branson, would you like to guess how many he has?
I know.
How many businesses? Have a guess, just what his number is. I'll tell you, 600. Richard Branson has 600 businesses. Now, you notice your brain is not overwhelmed. It's like, 600. I can listen to the first 100, right?
Yeah.
You with me? And you can imagine how many Bill Gates has. It's more than one, I can assure you, right? And Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos, who knows what his number is right now? We just hear about Amazon and Whole Foods and the Washington Post, that's 3, but he has hundreds, okay? And so because you are going to be talking to a range of people all over the place, I recommend just start off with a number. Hey, first of all, my vision impacts 200 million women, and the date for it is that I'm visioning it coming to fruition is 2025. You see those numbers, the mind is grounded when you put numbers in your speech. That's the precision core value that I mentioned to Pierre as well.
Thank you.
Just use numbers, especially because you're gigantic. If you don't use the number, their brain will overheat. I'm just telling you that up front, okay?
So that was worth the price of admission right there for me, because I have a similar issues at times, overwhelming audience.
Yeah, well, it's not that you overwhelm them. Their brain is missing something that it needs to prevent it from overwhelm, and that is called precision. And your job as the speaker is to provide that to their brain to prevent their brain from overheating and tuning out. Yes? So Princess was beautiful in that she brought out that issue because she's a big thinker, big player, big everything. And most people, normal people who are in the audience, they're not built for that. So to prevent them from melting down, You just put numbers in there, and you say, well, I'm just going to mention the first three, but I'll just let you know I do have 600 organizations that I'm responsible for. Oh no, I don't run them all myself, but I have 1,000 leaders that report to me because I'm royalty. Does that make sense? That's how it works. Your Majesty, what are you thinking? Hello, Princess?
Yeah, sorry, what did you say?
I was asking you, what are you thinking?
About what? Sorry, my grandson just distracted me now.
We were talking about the importance of numbering when you're talking big picture.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I see the sense in it, and I've just written it down for something to adopt into my presentation. And then it might also be a short form of not having to speak for too long in expatiating, except if they ask questions or
Absolutely.
somebody is interested in what I'm doing. They can inbox me privately.
Absolutely. All right, Princess, thank you so much for the gift of sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to add before you depart from this conversation?
No, I just want to say that your session has been brainstorming. It's quite useful for me. It puts my thoughts together in a coherent manner, and I execute the things I learned from here, and I experience changing. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. Pierre.
Before
Yes.
Princess left, I would like her to send me her information so I can contact her.
Princess, can you put something in the chat that he can, or go through Bettina? What's the best way for others to connect with you?
The best way to connect with each other is in the chat. And then there's when you open up the chat, down at the bottom, there's next to what looks like a smiley face, it says more, and you can click on those three little balls, setting balls, and click on save the chat or simply copy and paste.
Is there a We Empower You directory?
There's a limited directory, but Princess isn't on that directory at the moment, and neither is Pierre, so that wouldn't be a good place to go, but in the future. So, so we're at our 5 o'clock, but Aggie inquired about the mission, the vision, and identity of the We Empower You community. So ask away, Nigel, and I will round out what I'm doing here.
Let's go to your core then. At your essence. Now, we've talked and you've shared. But now I can have your answer. What is your spiritual identity? When you look at your essence, what identity describes Bettina?
I'm going to have you remove the slide piece there for me on the share.
Okay.
So I am the angel of connections, and I have been the angel of connections nearly all of my life. I have been bringing resources, opportunities, connections to folks literally since I was in grade school. And at times that has manifested in roles such as nursing. It's as an educator, as a marketing person, as a salesperson, as a mentor, a coach, a consultant, an advisor. I've had a lot of different hats. At the core of my being is that I came gifted with super connection. I see connections where others do not see connections. And sometimes my connections look like they're askew at times until enough time is given for them to manifest. And then it was like, oh yeah, I knew that. I knew that was connected. And I have the gift of intuition, and the gift of this intuition and the sixth sense and ability to prophesize also the future.
Can I disrupt you for a minute?
Yes.
Just to ground each thing. So the main one, the first one is identity. And what I heard is I am the angel of connection. At my essence, I'm an angel, and my purpose is connection, right?
Yes.
Bringing things together. And you've been living your purpose through the different roles that you play in your personal life, from educator, caregiver, businesswoman. In all those, you're always fulfilling on this role of a purpose of connecting people, things, resources together, right? So that's number one and number two. I just wanted to anchor those so that people get number one, identity, angel of connection, and then purpose is connecting, and that can express itself in so many roles. But the reason why the roles are possible is because of number three, gifts. Your gifts. Do you have gifts, or are you gifted, or are you super gifted? Which of those three best describe you?
I believe I'm super gifted.
Now, super gifted means multiple gifts. Like, this is why you have people that have multiple talents, and you ask them, what do you want to do with your life? And they try to narrow down to a box, and it's like painful because you're multi-gifted, which means also multifunction. You can do many things at the same time. So when we deal with a super gifted person, or we call them gifted child when they're younger, you know, those exceptional children that you have to send off to Harvard or something, that's if they're spotted. If they're not spotted, they're called troublemakers, okay? Because they don't fit in normal boxes, and people keep looking at them as if they're normal, but they're never going to fit in any kind of box, because these are gifted people. And as I said before, if they're multi-gifted, then big things, they're called to big changes on planet Earth. So whenever we have super gifted, we just kind of highlight, what are your strongest gifts? The ones that you use in all of your different roles and callings. And I think you mentioned one of them. I heard prophecy.
Yes, prophecy and intuition, and I'm what they call someone who has, whether you call it the gift of gab, or someone who just can bring people together. I have the ability to be very diplomatic. Speaking, communication is very, very high on the gifted list. I also am very strategic in my approach to everything. Everything seems to have a strategy built in. I can see in those strategies.
I was going to ask about your seeing capacity. Some people have foresight.
Definitely great big visions, big visions.
Well, let me just talk about the seeing, because that's one of the things that you share with Princess and Aggie. There's people that have foresight, meaning they can see ahead. Do you have that gift?
I have that gift too. Absolutely.
Then there's people who have the gift of hindsight. They can see what happened in the past and tell you what happened. Do you have hindsight?
I have hindsight too.
Do you have farsight, wide sight? You can see, I think this is one that Aggie has, the wide sight.
Yes, definitely.
Here's another one. You have the gift of insight, seeing internally, like seeing inside of a person and reading that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the reason I'm slowing that one down is because seeing, there's multidimensional seeing, and the super gifted have multidimensional seeing. So not only they can see the future, they can see the past, they can see sideways, they can see in ways, and inner sight, you know, that insight thing, they'll just wake up and see everything. So we slow it down because it has different applications and different callings. A gift can make you the person that is worthy of this calling. If you don't have the gift, then you're just going to be overwhelmed by the calling. Does that make sense?
Yes,
and then
totally.
There's some rules that come with gifts, like the gifts shall make room for you. The gifts can go ahead of you and open a door. It's a weird thing. Gifts are so Have you documented your gift, Angel of Connection?
Yes, I have.
How many do you have? Quantify.
Oh, minimally 21, but maximally
Minimal.
probably hundreds.
100, right. Well, once again, once they're identified and accounting, that naming them is counting them. And I remember growing up, count your blessings, name them one by one. I don't remember, but basically that was what it was talking about. If you name your gifts, they will amplify and serve you better. And then you have to account for them because they were gifted to you for a reason.
Yes,
All right.
I haven't always accounted for 21 or more gifts until I started working with you. But I always, probably for the last 15 years, I've had my top 5 gifts that I have built my business around and that I've built my friendships around. And I've said yes to things as a result of those gifts and no to those that don't fit those 5 things. So
right.
Yeah.
Staying with the gifts for a minute, there's some rules that govern gifts. Because you're here, there's some rules that govern. So one of the rules of gifts is that if I'm a gifted person and I know that I'm gifted and I have accounted for all of them, then those gifts are called assets. They will put money in the bank while I'm sleeping. Literally.
Yes. Yes.
Right now, that's what an asset is.
When I was in elementary school, for example, my communication was seen as something of a bit of a trouble because I was always trying to communicate during class. Whereas now I get paid to speak, I get paid to sell, I get paid to do some of the behaviors that are my gifts.
Look at this one. Because you have the gift, someone will pay you without you having to use the gift. It's like, oh yeah, she has that gift, therefore she gets paid. It's not even that you're using it, but you have mentioned that you have it, therefore your salary goes up, right? Yes. It's literally like you go into an interview and you put on your resume, I have the gift of this, and like, oh my God, her worth is higher. We have to pay her more. We might never use this gift, but because she has it and she listed it on her resume, salary increase.
Yes.
Gifted, asset. So that's why you're an asset to any organization that you belong to. And so you might as well go to your own organization because no one's ever going to reward you enough for the gifts that you have. Second thing, gifts that are, when I have a gift or a set of gifts, but I don't know that I have it. I'm gifted, but I'm not aware that I'm gifted. I think this is the case of Pierre. Pierre has loaded, but he doesn't know he's loaded. We know he's loaded. You know what happens? Gifts are going to get used one way or the other. And the people that can see, yes, Pierre.
One of the things I can say about having a gift and not using it is what I call unconscious competent.
Right.
Just
well, I'm going to go
my
there.
Mind. That's exactly what I was
Well, it's actually worse
say.
than that. I'm going to tell you, it's called worse than that. It's called liability. And I mean it in the exact way it shows up on the balance sheet, Aggie. A liability is something that's there, but it's losing money over time. What's this outgoing that we just like a leak? That's what a gift that's not accounted for is called a liability on the balance sheet. So I'm gifted, but I'm not aware I'm gifted. I have an example from me. I was a super gifted child. My dad used to just take me on a building site and say, no, to fix that fridge, I'd fix it. And I'd just fix anything that was around me. And I didn't know it was a gift. And so what happened is I would go around and I would add value to people. And I would also speak wisdom in front of my friends. And this started happening. I would speak something, and somebody heard it and went and executed it, made killing on it, and then came back to me and listened for more. And I'm like, how did you make that money? And they said, oh, I got it from you. I'm like, well, how come I didn't get paid? liability. Right? So I'm getting used, in other words. If I have the gift, which I do, and it's going out without my awareness, no accountability, I am going to create a liability on my balance sheet, negative cash flow. And in other words, the gifts will go and serve someone else instead of me. So
Yes.
that is why I must account for my gifts so that I can put them to work for me or my organization. That's the point I want to make. So a liability is a gift that's not accounted for, and an asset is a gift that is accounted for and is actively put to use in my enterprise. Okay, sorry, Bettina. So do you have any liability?
I've had the experience of being unconsciously competent in a lot of areas in my lifetime when I was disempowered, and people would either use or abuse or not compensate me adequately. And the shift to being able to even just own 5 of my gifts and to hire myself out on these 5 levels has really changed my life. Up until recently, now I also have more gifts written down and more opportunities that I can account for. So this precision that you're talking about of writing down your gifts and accounting
and numbering them.
And numbering them is so, so important. So yes, I have those written down in my spreadsheet on the toolkit that you provide with your famous coursework.
There's one more thing I'd like to add specifically, because now we're talking at the super gifted level. This applies to Princess, Pierre, Aggie, and Bettina, because you claimed it, right? And the gift is growing. Gifts will activate other gifts in others, meaning if Bettina starts doing her connecting thing around people, people who have that gift dormant in them will start replicating Bettina. And that's how you get to do, what's that word? Where like Tim Cook took over from Steve Jobs. What's that called? Transition or something, where you have,
duplicate yourself?
Well, the duplication occurs because of the gift, but the process of handing over the leadership, having someone
succession.
Succession planning. Succession planning can be automated by having gifts strong. Like for some reason, Steve Jobs' ability to present from the stage got transferred to Tim Cook. Tim Cook is not a presenter. Tim Cook is like operations guy. But guess what? Because he hung around with Steve enough, that gift activated in him. Yes, Pierre.
I'm sorry. This is a lot of other business fail because those people never have somebody prepare somebody to succeed them. And there's a saying that whatever you do for yourself, when you die, it goes with you. But whatever you do for others, you leave behind.
And even if they do have that fear, the intention, they haven't activated the gift of leadership or the gift of presentation. That charisma has to be so strong that it activates the charisma in your successor. And that's what I would like to have Bettina start looking at, is creating some successors. I remember you did say you found someone who has the gift at least there. They have the gifts, but now it has to be activated by you cranking up your gifts. You with me what I'm saying? It's like there's an automatic transference or activation, resonance. Two things of the same type will resonate if they're brought into proximity. So this gifts, number 3, I think it is, identity, purpose, gifts. This area I told you is where the value is sourced and where it oozes out as a persona, and then it goes into the business as a set of systems and practices, and then it goes out as products and services into the marketplace. That's why the arrows. Go ahead, yes.
That distinction that you make about when value goes out, money comes in, right? That is really at the core of making money, using your voice as your moneymaker, because at the end of the day, the value has to go out. Well, years ago, I didn't understand my value. In the very beginning, I didn't really have a relationship to it. And so I didn't understand why I wasn't making the money that I should have been making. And in 2013, something dramatically happened and shifted me to being able to see my core competencies, my gifts, as you call them, as well as to be able to see the value that I was giving, and then to ask for a set of income that went along with that, a matched income that went along with those gifts. So this is really, really at the core of your financial miracle challenge. So let's go ahead and go to the next area.
I just wanted to honor Aggie's question, because her question came from the vision and the missions and the vehicles. We want to see, because that's where the rubber meets the road, is actually at the vehicle end. So for We Empower You, what is the vision that you have? Wait a minute, before we jump there, what are your top 5 core values?
Honesty, loyalty, credibility, family, and connections.
You left out some critical ones. Integrity.
Yes, integrity is right in there with honesty.
I know, but they're not the same. I have to let
Not the
people
same.
know that.
Yeah, they're not the same.
I know that people think they're close, but they're actually totally different. Honesty is about allowing the truth to come out. So dishonesty could be actually being silent, right? Literally, someone like that, and knowing the truth and not saying anything is dishonesty. And then there's another form of dishonesty where the truth is coming out, but it's distorted. It's called bending the truth. So I spoke, Nigel, I was talking, man. Yeah, but you twisted it, you see? But the worst form of lying is withholding the truth. And that's why when you go to court, they make you swear to tell the truth, and the only thing you can do is withhold it, and then they can hold you in contempt of court. In the courtroom, they want the truth. Now, integrity is not about speaking. It's about aligning words with action. Did I do what I said I would do? How much is my movement aligned with my speaking? And I noticed that with Bettina, that is pretty strong. I tell people I can set my clock to her word. If she says, I'm going to call you at 2 o'clock, the clock clicks, and there's Bettina on the phone. So I just wanted to say it's a strong core value that you have. And I don't think you should just gloss it over and say it sounds like honesty. No, there are people, gangsters have high levels of integrity. Where my money at? Oh, it's by night. They will go and get you that money at night. But how they got the money may not be honest means, but they kept their word. You feel what I'm saying? So there's this, they have loyalty in gangs, right? But one thing that distinguishes them, they will not necessarily tell you the truth.
Yes. Yeah, definitely integrity and then honesty are two of the first two then. Reordering, of course. Loyalty.
And then,
loyalty. I'm as loyal as the day is long, and I look for that commitment in others as well.
All right. So I just wanted you to touch on them. And I know that we go deeper in sessions, but at the role that you're playing, you're modeling. So your values, purpose, vision has to be articulated so that members see what they're getting, because you represent the modeling of it. So everybody else can be vague about it, but because of your position, I'm sorry, it has to be documented, period. Yes. So so then the vision is what I really want to jump to. I didn't want to skip over that. Vision. What is your vision, a mountaintop view for the world?
Yes. Well, the vision for We Empower You was actually seeded in the early 90s when I had the vision that I could change the globe one business at a time. I still believe with certainty that the entire economy can be flattened to empower all people on the planet with
Now,
business, with
I'm
business.
hearing mission. I'm hearing mission. So let's assume that you did that. You flattened it and you empowered 1 million businesses and everything you touched worked out. And then, in fact, you like departed, like, I'm done, God, and like you went out. And then you're at the gates, right? And Peter's like, hey, where are you going? You're like, oh, I'm going to see the maker. Oh, no. We got to do a little pre-entry check. And they say, what was your purpose? I'm the angel of connection. What difference did you leave behind? How has the world changed as a result of your life on earth? Can we tell us, because we have a survey angel that we're going to send to verify what you said. How has the world changed now that you've left it? That's the vision. Tell us what we shall find when we send the survey angel.
A number, let's say 1 billion people are practicing the giving first, right? That's the biggest part of this economy that I'm creating.
Created.
The act of giving, so that we operate from the act of giving. And when we give, it's my belief that
since people are giving,
since people are giving, these 1 billion people are giving, people around the world who were starving are now full, have abundance in their life.
In other words, what you left behind was an abundant planet.
What I left behind on the planet is a system that can be replicated throughout the entire globe.
No, it's not can be, is being.
Is being replicated across the globe. And
what's it doing, this system?
The system is empowering those who embrace this opportunity, those who embrace this possibility. It's empowering them to empower others. So it's just a mechanism of empowerment.
So it's a viral empowerment system. Like,
yes, it's a total movement.
Whenever it was.
Total movement.
Yes, and the movement happened before you left Earth, and it was a X billion people were now empowered. Right, is what I heard. You left the planet empowered, and the way you did it was through this system of empowerment that went viral. But the result, when all is said and done and everything stabilized, everybody is empowered. The planet is empowered. Send your angel to check if that's so. So the survey angel flashes over to New York. Yeah, all those people look empowered to me. Yeah, okay, to tell the truth. And then the question is, how do we measure it? What is the measurement of empowerment in this vision? How do we know somebody's empowered?
The individuals who are empowered have a voice in their personal matters, in their life, in their choices. They can move about the cabin of life without restrictions.
They are moving.
They are moving around the cabin without restrictions about their race, their sex, their origin.
In other words, nothing is limiting them.
Nothing is limiting them. They have access to food and water and shelter and more, way more.
So you kind of removed a lot of the limitations that was on the planet.
Yes.
But that's what this empowerment means, is people have transcended limitations.
Yes, whether you're in the Amazons or you're in Tahiti or you're in Bogota or you're in the Seoul, Korea, or in West Africa, Cote d'Ivoire or Uganda, or wherever you are, you can make money. You can turn around and give that money to others.
Can we check if the vision is landed? So let's see what Aggie heard, because she's always listening very carefully.
Well, I'm hearing that the vision is quite large.
It's massive.
It's huge, and it's empowering everyone with no limitations to raise their income, shatter their glass ceiling, do what they feel that they are brought here to do without limitation.
Now, may I edit Aggie a little bit?
Please, yeah.
When you said the vision is everyone is to, no, everyone is.
Okay,
It's happening.
right.
It's a, Go ahead. Just say it again, because it sounds better when you say it.
I like it when you say it as well, but everyone is reaching their fullest potential.
Yes, that's the vision. It's happening. It's like we're in the future and it's already done. We're at the mountaintop. That's why we never talk of a vision with a two in it, because we're here. I can see it, man. In fact, I'm getting the goosebumps as I'm hearing it being spoken. And so this is the power of having a vision in the present tense. It activates the body. It activates the human being and brings them to life. So the scripture where it speaks about vision only spoke about what happens when a vision is missing. When there is no vision, people perish. In other words, they're dead. They're just, I don't know, disempowered. But you stick a vision like that, hey, in whatever year it is, every person in Amazon, jungle, Nigeria, Jamaica, they are empowered. There are nothing stopping them. And by the way, just in case you hadn't won, there's this machine called the empowerment machine that's gone viral. It's just anyone that touches it, it's just replicating itself. And each person that empowers somebody teaches them how to empower somebody. It just goes viral. And it's changing the world back to an abundant world.
Yes.
This is where it feels like the angel of connectivity is restoring heaven on earth. She's not making it. It was like this in the beginning. And so she's correcting an error that was present.
I am actually pretty certain that there's a mathematician that can actually prove my point.
Which is?
To take this model and mathematically apply it to X number of individuals who follow exactly the formula that we have laid out. And if
we'll produce that result.
When it moves across the globe, which it already started to move across the globe last year, that it actually is already so. It literally is already so. I know in my heart of hearts that I could leave the planet right now with just the folks that have signed up for the We Empower You community right now, who've embraced what I've shared with them and what Lee has shared with them, what you've shared with them, what Aggie has shared. And I could vanish, and this will keep going already. I know that. I've already spent a year and a half explaining and exploring it to others, enough that others know exactly how it works.
It's already in motion. So a great master teacher used this phrase to describe what you're saying. It is done.
It is done. It is done. And so it is.
It's a done deal. Exactly. So that's how you talk, Angel Bettina, is just speak it as if it's a done deal. And that's the ultimate certainty. That's the confidence where, because if you say we're working on it and it's going to, then there's this probability and risk of failure. But if you say, listen, it's a done deal, just surrender to the process and scale it up.
Yes. And what's interesting, what I know is it's a done deal because Aggie followed and came and has heard, and she knows it even better than I know it. She has explored it in a way that only Aggie could have actually gotten. And our connection began some years back, probably 15 years ago. And what's interesting is that connection, plus the idea that was seeded in me back in the early 90s, when I just had this vision that the internet and a replicable website for all business owners, and meaning let it be for everyone. Let it be that everyone in every school and every child gets a business when they are, in elementary school. This is a mechanism that can, in fact, change the world. And I know for a fact that Aggie knows just enough, Lee knows just enough to keep this going in spite of my existence. And that is what warms my heart, that it's not dependent on me any longer. And everything I did up until now required that I do it, that I was the one woman show, that it was up to me and my understanding. And what I know now is it's not my understanding whatsoever. I've already left behind. The legacy is being lived out right now. That's my point. Yeah.
Amen. And the only thing that's going to change is scaling. The number of people who have already experienced the measure of success. So we're in the scale, you're in scaling phase. The initiations happened. And yes, you had to lay the foundation and do the initial work, but now it's replicating by itself. And it's just a matter of where are we on the exponential curve.
Right. And the values clarification is really important, because the only people that belong in this community, within this movement, they fit those qualities, those values, right? If they don't have those values, they will not be here in the long haul, right? So at the end of the day, being very, very clear about my values is key to the success of We Empower You. Integrity, respect, loyalty, understanding, all of these things that I practice each and every day. It's more of people that resemble me that are the ones that are to carry this on.
Question. All right. Well, let me just check in. Is Princess still here? Princess, are you here? Okay. What about Maria?
And Maria's here too.
Yes, I know Maria's here. I'm reading. Maria, can you share whatever you think the vision is that you heard? Just share your recap of whatever you got. It doesn't have to be the same, accurate, just your version.
Staying committed to making a difference for people, especially in any areas about communication and being open and honest with each other.
This is Bettina's vision, right?
Well, and it's mine also, but Bettina's got a much bigger one, and she's a heck of a good leader, as are you. And so it really serves. Pardon?
I was just checking how you heard her vision. Just tell me, reflect back the portions of her vision that resonated with you or you caught, whatever you caught.
Integrity, honesty. I wrote it all down because I like them. Loyalty, credibility, family, acting from a giving place, respect. And I see her doing that, being that. And I see that she totally believes this is all possible. And if people believe in something, they can achieve it.
Awesome. Beautiful. Excellent. So you notice, Bettina, what she caught mainly was your core values.
Core values, yes.
She caught them. It's like, oh, I like these. And so people
can relate to them. So she's a member.
She has them.
And she has them. And that's, again, attracting the right fit. I know right is a virus word, but
resonance is what we want.
The resonance. Yes.
People, so this is where I put a lot of emphasis on Bettina. And when I'm working, when every time she's in the session, I'm like, Bettina! It's like I pick on her a lot. And the main reason is because she is like the primary note. You know, that note is the one that picks up all the other notes. And if this note is off, everybody's off. And because of what she's called to do, that has to be a strong, clean note. And the two, well, all those core things, Bettina. Number one, your identity. The angel identity is the highest way of being on earth. Everybody else is below that. So if you own that identity, you will have a strong purpose, connection. That's unifying the planet, basically. We're one. Gifts is superlistic. You're in the super class, which means vision is automatically big. To whom much is gifted, much is agreed upon. So the gifts and the vision are related. Core values is what attracts or repels. That's why you cannot negotiate your core values. They're just solid. And this person resonates with your values and they're in, or they say, you know what, I don't think I'm a good fit. You're not a fit, period. And it's the same with Princess. She was like, Nigel, I'm here to serve X people, and that's it. So I'm just emphasizing that your role is not negotiable. Nothing about you is negotiable. And therefore, strength in character is mandatory. So the part that my headphones just died.
I hate when that happens.
Switching over.
Now you're muted. There you go.
So while Nigel figures out his audio, which it doesn't sound like it's figured out yet, one of the things that would be interested in talking about at some point is how the vision and the core values are communicated through the package, and how we can maybe communicate that even more clearly and get some feedback from people on that, because that is clearly the heart of the membership.
Yes, and I think that working with Brian from Admanity is another great next step. I'm not sure, Nigel, if you're able to bring up your mic still or not. We're still not able to hear you. We know we've gone over 2 hours when the headsets go out.
Hey guys.
There you go. Is that you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh. Okay, well, that's good news. Okay.
So we might tap you, Nigel, for advice on how to deploy the mission and the vision within the membership, because that is sorely lacking, I think, in the materials and the content. That you don't really see a lot of that inside the website yet.
If it's important to the success of the membership, then we should be, I believe, in communicating the importance, because someone who's evaluating, should I be a member or not, may need to know what those values are to see if they resonate with the energy of the group or whether they don't.
Yes, I think taking Nigel's cue on the values, the purpose, the vision, the mission, that all should be documented on the website, which it is not at the moment.
Yeah. So I think, well, let me just complete your interview with the vehicles that compose the Bettina enterprise. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, so the main vehicle is the We Empower You membership. And that membership is available to anyone around the globe. We believe it's priced affordably because it's $1,599 US dollars, of which we give $800 to the referring source, and when there is one, and also then Lee and I split the other half. And with that, we spend a year devoting ourselves to each and every one of the members. So this replicable, website that involves Income Activator plus the meetings, plus the summit, plus the directory, plus.
Well, let me,
that's the main vehicle.
can I interrupt for a minute? Because the vehicle is the business itself. Like We Empower You and Under a Wing, are they two separate entities?
Under a Wing is right now the subsidiary of We Empower You.
Right. So there are multiple businesses of which you might only want to talk about We Empower You, right? And then We Empower You is the vehicle that contains the system of which the membership is the system. And the membership is what you just described, which is a system within We Empower You. Even if it's the only one, it's a system. And that system may have iterations like iPhone, right? So the membership is on version 1.0, 2.0. I mean, it's been around before I got here. So either way, there's a current version of it. And I think from this discussion, there can be another version enhancement, right? And I think the more that we engage each member as they stand right now in this kind of dialogue is the more we can see why the membership is working or where it's not working, because we can see the alignment on the values. We can see how your big picture contains their big vision. You notice that you're actually, We Empower vision actually holds everybody else's vision. And it provides all these systems and mechanisms inside the membership offering. And there's one theme that I've seen that's running through everybody, and it's the abundance theme. When I looked at Aggie's cash out machine or her website, all I saw was money, right? And then when you described the abundance, I heard money. And when Pierre was describing, I heard money, right? And I think that's where I'm aligned. We're aligned, like value and money.
Yeah, and the main reason, at least from my vantage point, that money comes up is because I can care about a lot of things that I would like to see changed on the planet. But the only way that I can make a difference is with money. When I contribute money, when I give money, when I use money to make a difference. And that's the main reason that money comes up for me, is this abundance is very clear to me. The more abundant I am, the more difference I can actually make. Without the funding, without the money, I can care a lot, and I do, but I won't be able to make the difference. So up until now, I was struggling to marry that together, but now it's all coming together.
I was there, I would say 2 years ago, where I was having some kind of thing where I had money as a conversation and this other thing, impact, whatever. Now I don't have that issue, because what we're really talking about is transferring value to people and allowing people to transfer value. So when I serve my customer, what I'm really doing for my customer is helping them to give out more value. Like Nigel meets them, and it doesn't matter what I did to them, is what happened to them at the end of my interaction. Like, so Nigel, so let me talk to Johnny. Johnny, what was the benefit? I know we had a session and I said some very deep stuff and you loved it, but how did your life change as a result of interacting with Nigel? And the answer should be this: I was able to put out more value in the world, Nigel. That was what changed. Whatever you gave me, it made me able to give more. I gave you 1x, I gave 1x to my customer, and my customer was able to do 10x to their customers. That's what really is happening, is value is being amplified. When I talk to Bettina, Bettina is able to give out 10x more value than I gave her. And I think, who was it? Oh, it's Aggie. She's the multiplier, right? If you put in 1x, your output is 10x. That's the Aggie factor.
Yeah.
And now what we're talking about is 10x value, but value is measured in dollars. So the dollars is just reflecting the value that's that green line I kept on showing you. The money is just the physical representation of the spiritual entity known as value. And human beings exchange value with each other. Value is the currency that's circulating, but dollars is the thing that makes you see it. And that's why I don't have any issue whatsoever talking about money anymore, because it's just measuring the real thing that's moving, which is value. So yes, do you feel complete in your sharing?
I feel complete, and thank you everyone. Given that it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, I want to say a great big thank you, Master Nigel Henry. Thank you everyone here that has come and gone, because there's a few that had to leave along the way. I cannot thank you enough. There's a not word in there. That's a virus word, but I believe in you. It feels like you believe in me. Let's keep this party going. We empower you, is the vehicle. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now, everybody. Tune in to WeEmpowerYourLife.com and click on the calendar tab for the Zoom meeting every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Bye. Take care.
Bye.